to shift that procrastinator mentality. We need to start acting on our ideas, working on our goals and our dreams. To think about your attempt at
You already know what time it is.
Evaluate your game plan and your methodology. Take it to a next and a higher level.
Yeah.
And follow up by living it. That's what a boss is.
Yeah.
That's what a boss does. JefeTalk.
Yeah, welcome back to the JefeTalk podcast. It is your host, Jefe. I am ecstatic. I am super happy to be here. It has been a minute. First off, I want to give everybody a huge shout out for holding me down. I logged in, and everybody knows, whoever podcasts or any type of streaming, you can see your stats, you can see your statistics, and, the numbers are crazy as far as a whole of how many people out there are doing this. And I was extremely humbled and extremely thankful to see the amount of people that still tap into my podcast. Now, keep in mind, I started this podcast back in, I'll say 2023 years. So maybe about 2 years ago, right? And the whole concept of JefeTalk, I created it at probably one of my lowest points in life. This was back in 2018, right? And if anybody knows my story, it has a lot of ups and downs, a lot of tribulation, right, involved with that. Right? If I had to create a movie, I'm not going to have a hard time, I promise you. Like, I got too many examples, too many success stories, too many mistakes. And, I tell you, it's a journey. But I will say back in 2008 was probably one of the hardest years of my life. A lot of things that was coming to me I didn't see. A lot of false understanding, not analyzing, not thinking, just kind of, I was in my flow. Because prior to that year, I literally achieved probably one of the highest peak years of being paid, right? At that time, right? I was number one in the country in sales for a particular company. But within that success, I literally went through one of the hardest times, right? I had cancer back in 16. So I don't want to just brush over that, but the point is I had a high, right? And then I had a low. And then from that year, I got promoted. And then boom, 2018 hit and bam, fell flat on my face. So what I'm kind of shifting to was your mind is going to have a lot to do with how you end up at the end of the day. JefeTalk came to me when I was dead broke. Literally dead broke. I'm talking about dead broke. And keep in mind, I'm a full-fledged adult, right? Don't get it twisted. I wasn't like 18 trying to figure out life. I literally had a whole career. And because of a few decisions that I made, it completely smacked the hell out of me. And I had to go through a season of being broke-minded. I had to. Because, number one, for a guy like me, right, most people know me as the motivator, the go-getter, always on top of his game. I'm always pushing people. So I kind of already been groomed to think like that all the time. All the time. I'm talking about nonstop. Even when I had nothing, I was groomed to think like that. And, some may ask, well, where did you get that from? I literally believed in what it takes to be successful, right? I studied people for years. I'm talking about from the greats, all the way back from the 1900s and up. I tried to find any successful person that I can align myself with. And I studied them. And they all had similar stories. They all came from nothing. They all came from the bottom, for the most part, right? Of course, you got those people that, walk into money or their parents or some type of inheritance. But what I will say that my journey was literally just based off of this has to work. This has to work. I'm already at the bottom. I'm already, now keep in mind, this is not a story where I'm eating out of canned goods on the street, and God bless anybody that had to deal with that, right? I'll always say, God rest my mom's soul. She always made sure we had something to eat. She figured it out, right? But this wasn't, upper class, middle class. We was down there, right? My mom was getting food stamps and all of that, right? When I was, little lad, back young Jefe, we called me, right? Back then, of course, they didn't call me no young Jefe. It was like, if you don't get your dirty ass. But anyways, I take that back. Mom always made sure I was clean, right? But my point is, I literally had to believe in something to change my situation. And I was always good with faith. That's one thing I'll say about me. I was always good with faith. Even when I wasn't even taught what faith was, I was always good at believing something because I'm already looking at my situation now. Like if my situation is like this, I got nothing to lose. So fast forward into growing up and to starting to see success in different industries, even in the military. My belief in whatever I put my mind to literally made me outshine because I started to realize the multitude, the masses did not think the same way. And I used to ask myself, well, if all the great successful people are thinking like this, why most people don't do the same thing? And then I reverse engineered that conversation, that thought, and say, wait a minute, people need discipline. People need rituals. People need habits. People need motivation, right? There's a few things in this cookbook, right, that you need to cook up one hell of a motivated person to end up successful. So I took heed to that. But, there's some things in life that just don't always go your way. And it's a fact. And it's designed to do that. And I think most of you guys out there, the moment you realize that your life has to go through tribulation, that's when you grow up. That's when you matured. For some reason, you think it's supposed to be a fairy tale. You're supposed to be a landslide to greatness. It's hell no. It's going to be a whole lot of hard work, a whole lot of belief, right? Reprogramming, which we're going to talk about here tonight. It's a lot of different things you're going to have to accept for you to see your next breakthrough. So as we get in this conversation, right, we call it JefeTalk, right? Also known as Boss Talk. This is more about reprogramming your mindset, reprogramming where you are right now, and figuring out how do I reverse this trajectory that I have, or at least put it in a new path. We got to start asking ourselves these questions. What do I have to lose? My pride, my ego, how I'm going to look in front of people who I have to cut off, right? And those usually things that hold people back. It's usually other people. It's crazy, right? Other people, how we may look, and of course ourselves. We are our biggest obstacle. It's a fact. How many times you wanted to do something, you was on your way to do something, but because you were so stubborn, based off perception or how you may look, you literally will sit in a pile of shit. You will go through your most uncomfortable situation in life, all because you cannot accept change. You're not willing to adapt. So getting back to my story of when JefeTalk was conceived, when the idea for this brand and this movement was created, I was saying earlier that I had to go through a broken-minded phase because I had to become uncomfortable. See, there's two types of people. There's the individual that becomes comfortable in their broke-minded state. And there's another individual that it just doesn't feel right and it doesn't sit right. So tonight I want to talk to the individual that is starting to get a little bit too comfortable being broke-minded. You got to first know who you are. You got to first know your origin, where you come from. That's very important. And this conversation can go in different directions. I'm talking about from your roots. I'm talking about who you are in a spiritual sense. But we're going to keep this surface level tonight, right? Because, I'm speaking to, a wide audience right now. But I'm talking to that individual that feels broken inside. I'm talking to that individual that feels they just can't keep moving forward in life because they're not keeping up with what everybody else is doing. Because they're not looking at like the superhero to their spouse or their girlfriend or to their kids or to their boyfriend, whoever it may be. So you got to understand that your mind literally dictates everything you do, every single thing. Every single thing. You had to think it to do it. You had to think it to say it. You had to think it to say yes. It's really that simple. And I know this sounds very basic, but sometimes you got to take it back to the basics, right? To become a master in anything, you have to be a master of the basics. So if you don't even understand how your mind works, if you don't even understand how your subconscious works, how are you ever going to evolve? How are you ever going to take it to that next level where you're trying to be? See, for me, when I was broke-minded, and what I mean by broke-minded, let me give you an example. That means every time I think about something positive, I find a reason for it not to work. Broke-minded is not always a financial thing. Broke-minded is just, think of going across a bridge and you're always putting holes in that bridge for you not to cross the bridge. That's what broke-minded is. It could be for finance, absolutely. It could be for a positive relationship. It could be for a great outlook on your new opportunity in your career, right? It could be making a big purchase, but you're always finding something to be negative about. It could be your health, getting in shape, getting your body right. Broke-minded people always tend to find something that's wrong. And, y'all kill me out there, especially those individuals that be like, yo, I'm just being optimistic. I'm not putting all my eggs in a basket. What if this goes wrong? What if that? Listen. I'm going to give you a great example on how you're supposed to carry yourself. When you get into a car, right, you put on your seatbelt and let's say you got to go to the grocery store. When you put on that seatbelt, you're not putting on that seatbelt thinking you're going to crash, are we? Let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it 100. You just got to go up the street to the post office, to the supermarket, whatever it may be, but you're not thinking about crashing for the most part. But your seatbelt is on. How you carrying yourself is that you're going to make it to your destination. That is exactly how you're supposed to move in this life. You're always supposed to be very sure, assertive, confident about where you're going. Yes, you can have plan A, plan B, but that's got to be like in the background floating, just like your seatbelt on, but that's not your main focus of crashing. Your main focus is getting to that destination. That is the same way you got to move and the same way you got to operate when it comes down to this thing called great outcomes, this thing called success. See, the real success is not the destination, it's the journey of getting there. I was always successful because my mind was molded in a way where as I'm going on this step to my end goal, I felt good doing it. I already felt that I completed my goal. I already knew that I was going to win. At that point, people saw success in me. Even when I was broke, even when I had no money, you could not tell unless, my outfit is looking crazy. And that's rare. I'm being honest. If I come out the house looking crazy, be like, yo, F.A. is going through some shit. Yo, let's put something in a basket for a homeboy. But most people couldn't tell. And you got to understand, it's a confidence that literally was placed there on purpose because I knew the moment I say it, the moment I look it, is the moment everybody else is going to speak that into my life. So you got to remember, the people that keep saying I'm a failure, this is not going to work, I'm broke, you attract people like that. You have people professing and saying things over your life, literally, over your life for you, because when they think about you, they think about you being broke. They think about you not being successful. So they're saying it. They're working for you. They're working for you. You don't even know it, for your demise. Not because they want to do it on purpose. It's because you present that every time you step out. Every single time. When you step out, you're supposed to be walking out like you are the king or queen of your whole domain. You're supposed to talk it. You're supposed to look it. You're supposed to smell it. You know what I'm saying? Even on this podcast, as I'm talking to you, before I got on, sprayed the little Tom Ford, brushed my hair, I had to make sure I feel good, because when I'm speaking in success talk, you got to feel it through these airwaves. You got to feel it when you press play or rewind. But it's not going to hit you. It's not going to hit you the same if I don't even believe in it. So you got to understand that broke-minded people literally will walk and talk it every single time. You can always find where their mind state at. I know exactly where you're going in life. I know exactly how you're going to end up, just based off the things that comes out of your mouth, how you present yourself. Now, don't confuse this as wearing, expensive outfits. Don't confuse this as wearing expensive cologne and all this other stuff. There's a complete difference between dressing to keep up with people versus making sure that you look good for yourself and in any capacity. I don't care. Look, I'll be half of the time I'm wearing a Target t-shirt, might have some, something else on to compensate, don't get it twisted. I mean, at least for me. But half of the time I'm wearing something that I feel good about, right? Success is mostly how you feel, to be honest. You have to feel it. Nobody else is going to dictate if you're successful or not. They can smell it, they can sense it, they can hear it, but you deep down inside know if you are successful or not. So what I want you to do tonight is I want you to take some notes. We kind of covered the groundwork, right? We covered the groundwork on what makes a broke-minded person, but we got to now identify what are the things we can do to reverse that, to put us in a successful mind state. Number one is you got to identify your negative thought patterns. Identify it. Because if you can't identify, you don't even know what you got to clean up, right? The first step is becoming aware of your thought pattern, right? Patterns related to money, abundance, success, relationships. Are those things that you're saying to yourself, are you speaking in a positive manner? The moment that you realize, once you talk about those different things and they're coming off in a negative tone or a negative, just a negative vibe every time you say it, that is it. That's how you identify it, because it doesn't feel good when you say it. You feel sad, you feel sorry, you feel pitiful, right? So you have to identify that. The moment you say, I'm not good with finances, or I never have enough money, this and that, that is exactly the area that you have to change. Okay, number two, challenge and reframe limiting beliefs. Once you identify your negative pattern, right, your negative thought pattern, ask yourself, is there any evidence supporting these beliefs? Right? Or these are just assumptions, right? Or these are just things that we think are wrong. Now, granted, some of y'all just terrible with money. Y'all make every wrong decision. Y'all invent new decisions that's just wrong. Like, some of y'all actually need help, right? But what you have to do to even start, you have to reframe the belief. You have to reframe these into a more positive or more empowering statements to yourself, right? So if you know you trash with your finances, you have to start speaking as if you already are excellent. Right? If you keep making bad decisions, right? Relationship after relationship, just trash, getting ran through. You just feeling nasty, like, oh, here we go again. Another one got it. You know what I'm saying? It's for men and female and whoever, right? But the moment you start reaffirming those type of thoughts, you have to understand all you're doing is building more foundation for negative thinking. You ever met somebody, right? Or, those who are in the dating scene and they always saying, well, my last one was like this, or most women do this, or most men do that. They already bought or believe in a system that already occurred in their life and they haven't reprogrammed that system. They're already assuming something is going to go wrong, and then they try to cover it up and be like, oh, well, no, I don't really mean that. I'm just saying this might happen. And what do you know? 9 times out of 10, that person meets the same type of people. They attract the same type of people. And people be so lost about it. They be really lost. Like, I don't know why I keep running into this type of person. I don't know why I keep running into this type of individual. And that's because you attract it. You say it. You attract those type of people. People who don't think like that run from you. Trust me. They may not say it, but you be like, whatever happened to Bob? Bob was just a good guy. He just kept on, he never returned my text. Cindy was cool, but for some reason, I sent her flowers. They not fucking with you. Because you're putting out an aura, you're putting out a vibration that just doesn't sit right or vibe with them. And you don't even realize it because you're so programmed into assuming the worst. Assuming negativity. So the key is right now, you must challenge and reframe your limiting beliefs. All your beliefs that has limits on it, remove it. Remove all ceilings, right? Who remembers Lil Wayne's No Ceiling mixtape? One of the best mixtapes out there. No ceilings. There's no limits to what Lil Wayne could do on that mixtape. He killed every track he got on. You got to have that same type of mindset, that same type of flow when it comes down to your decision making. Knowing that if I do this, I'm going to be great at this. If I accept this position, if I take this part-time job just to get a little bit ahead and get my situation right, I'm going to be cool. I'm going to be straight. I'm going to be successful. You got to talk that talk to yourself. That's what JefeTalk is. JefeTalk is reaffirming belief in yourself like a boss. Oh, I'm cooking. Yeah, it's been a minute. I've been cooking. I had to put the recipe, granted, it's been about a few months I've been off. So I need y'all to just, bear with me. I want to apologize. But this is my passion. This is what I do. All of this is just from the heart, because I lived it. I believe it. I know what I'm talking about. Right? The next thing is you got to practice gratitude and abundance. Be thankful for what you have. You got to say it out loud, speak it, believe it. Be thankful for what you have. Things that work, right? Some of you can see, y'all can walk. Y'all can use your voice box. There's so many little things that we take for granted. We don't realize how blessed we are within just the basics. People are dying day by day. People are crying or fighting, killing each other over the basics that you have. You got the audacity to be mad because you don't have the 6-figure position. The audacity because you can't wear an essential shirt like everybody else and sit on a couch at the club. You didn't get the Beyonce ticket. Like, yo, get your life together. You got a lot more things to be thankful for, right? So I want you guys to start showing more gratitude for the things that you have. Cultivate a daily gratitude practice and focus on the abundance in your life. Okay? This helps shift your mindset from scarcity to abundance. I'm cooking, y'all. Y'all hope y'all taking notes. It shifts your mindset from scarcity to abundance. The next thing is set specific goals. And for broke-minded people, right, financial goals, right? Define and clear achievable financial goals. Achievable, right? Yes, everybody wants to be a millionaire, multi-millionaire, billionaire for some people. But let's start making goals that we can accomplish. Remember, all the little wins is going to create the big win, right? Create a weekly goal. Say, hey, this week I'm going to save $10. If you got to be that low, go that low. $5, $20, right? Learn how to reconfigure your finances. Reallocate your money until you're seeing the results. right? For instance, if you had an issue saving $1,000, right? Your goal is each month, man, I've been trying to save $1,000, just $1,000, and I can't do it. It's always going somewhere. Drop down to 500, drop down to 250. So you got to start creating the small wins, start creating the small W's. Because what that's going to do is going to, build your confidence to remind you you're not a goof bucket. You actually can accomplish something, right? And B, you're going to start building some W's. You're going to start adding to your repertoire of wins. So make sure you're setting specific financial goals, right? Having specific objectives and it gives yourself a sense of purpose and direction, right? It motivates you when you do this. I'm telling you, it's a science to this. And I literally had to become a chemist when it comes to this. Don't talk to me about goal setting. I'll annoy the hell out of you. I'll make you hate me for trying to make you great. But yeah, all right. So look, number 5, finishing up. Look, I know it's been a minute, but I was really excited to get you this message. So let's finish up with number 5. Right? Number 5 is very important. Educate yourself and seek support. Educate yourself about the things you want to be great at, whether it's personal financing, budgeting, investing, right? Relationships, how to become a wife, how to become a husband, how to be a good spouse, how to be a great boyfriend, how to get your body right. I'm telling you, anything. Seek the support. Stop being so proud. Ain't nobody but you when you look in that mirror. We gotta stop moving and operating like we got cameras on us all the time. Trust me, nobody's looking at you. Usually most people look at you is when you open your mouth. Pause. It's when you start complaining. Learn how to move in such a manner where people can't really tell what's going on, but they could tell you working. They could tell you cooking. Feel me? So understand that broke-minded people literally have the power to change their trajectory, their focus, their goals. You have it. It's already in you. Let me give you this last gem. The way you know you already have the ability to become successful is because you became successful at becoming broke-minded. You already practiced it. Everything I told you to do tonight, you already do. You be around negative people. You say negative things to yourself. You create a plan on how to keep fucking up shit. Right? You educated yourself on what broke is. You became a master at being broke. You already the master at it. All I did today was kind of shifted a few words in what you're already great at, put more positive words in you, more affirmation, more gratitude, more abundance, more victories, more success in the conversation tonight. So now we can start reframing how we think, reframing how we walk, reframing how we move. Listen, I don't know if this was a hell of a comeback or what is, but I hope you got some type of message tonight. I hope you got some motivation. And I just hope you put yourself in a way better thinking pattern than what you have already been thinking previously before this podcast. Remember, JefeTalk is a lifestyle. It's how you move. It's how you think. It's how you operate. The slogan is act, think, live. Enough of the thinking. You overthink yourself to the worst of the worst of the worst. Now I want you to act. Act on the things that we talked about tonight. Make some hard decisions, right? Cut off some people. Cut off those toxic relationships. Let's start goal planning. Let's start getting excited about life. You already did the worst. You already went through the worst. I'm telling you, the worst thing you can ever go through in life is having a defeated mindset, because that dictates everything else around you. Let's shift it. Let's move it. This is JefeTalk. I'm out.